She Is Coming is the latest EP from Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus has had quite the mess of a career. I don't mean that as an attack on her as a person. I obviously don't know her as a person, but I mean in the sense that her styles and sounds and her personas, images have just been a complete mess from the get-go. She's basically never really known what she's wanting to be. She jumps on hip-hop whenever it suits her and basically gentrifies it in a lot of ways. She made that 90-minute psychedelic album. I'm not going to pretend that I listened to that, by the way. I've never sat through that whole thing, and I'm amazed that people did. She's always aiming for shock value with everything she does, or if she's not doing that, she's just randomly going back to her country pop, folk pop roots, and that just isn't enough to get people interested. So whenever that doesn't work, she goes back into making the pop bangers that are just ridiculous and over the top, and that's kind of what this new EP is essentially aiming to do, I think, once again. It seems to be a mixture of both worlds. There was that Mark Ronson collaboration that didn't happen too long ago. It was actually quite a decent track, I'm gonna say. I actually quite like that song. This doesn't make it onto the EP though, but that kind of like style that she went for on that track is sort of mixed in here with some of the hip-hop that she's going for once again. Now in terms of her image, I will try and give her the benefit of the doubt in the sense that she has probably been fucked up by the huge amount of fame that she was subjected to at such a young age. Say what you will about her as a person, if you think she's awful, if you think she's grating, whatever you think about her, I don't really know, but you cannot deny that being one of the most famous people in the world before you've even hit the age of 20, that's gonna mess you up in some kind of way. You see it time and time again with the famous actors and actresses who are famous from the teens. They grow up, they have mental breakdowns, they have drug problems, alcohol problems, just all kinds of shit, just massively affects their mental health. And I feel like Miley Cyrus has been a part of that crowd as well. However, though, I don't really feel as though that's fair to excuse the music she makes though, because this is pretty bad, isn't it? Basically, the first track on here leads you into something that you're not going to expect. The first track is nothing like the other tracks. It's, like I say, that kind of like country pop blend that she's been trying to do at points that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Here it's kind of hit and miss. It's a decent track, but it's not really enough to keep me invested in anything that she's singing about, really. For an EP that is attempting to be this big, bold statement of a comeback, which I guess is what she's trying to go for here, it's not really the best and most bold opening track you could have led off with. Cattitude actually would have been the more worthy opening track, even if it is horrendous, like it's an awful song, but I would have absolutely understood why she would open with that instead. Cattitude is her attempt at an Azealia Banks song, but it ends up being Logic's Lemon Drop. I do not know how she got it so wrong that it ended up being Lemon Drop. You must miss so hard to get on that level. We're in a year where we've had 2 Lemon Drops. The fact that we had 1 was unbelievable. But we've got another. And RuPaul is on this track, of all people. RuPaul, why? Why? Why is he talking about pussy? Mate, it's the silliest song that you could ever hear, but it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I could definitely understand why you would find this ironically funny, but it really is embarrassing. They're honestly going to call him in and have talks about cancelling Drag Race after this. Like, you've got to question your own reputation. If you're going to involve yourself in songs like this, you got to take the consequences, dude. Like, the producers, they're going to fire you after this one. We've got the track Dream, which stands for drugs rule everything around me. What a lazy Wu-Tang reference that is. Ghostface Killer appears right at the end of this track. It's the weirdest transition I think I've heard all year. Like, this is 2 separate songs that have just been clamped together. There is no way Ghostface was there during the recording of this song. This is just him doing his own bit and sending it over, and they just thought, well, we can't really fit it in, so we'll just tack it on right at the end. And I'm not trying to say that an artist can't be versatile the way that Miley is, but how she does it is so phoned in. She picks and chooses when she wants to dip into these different subgenres of like hip hop and pop rap. I just find it really fake. And it kind of is amplified even further when the songs themselves just sound so bad. Like, it's so clear that she doesn't fit a song like Cattitude. It's so clear that bringing on a guest verse from a rapper is not in her wheelhouse. It's so clear that when she's at her best, she's herself. But unfortunately, when she's herself, she puts out a single like Younger Now, like she did on her last album, and it gets nowhere in the charts. Songs like that are so clearly her best songs though, so it's just a shame that she feels like she has to live up to some kind of standard by being edgy and weird and out there, but it ends up just sounding tacky and gross. Yeah, this EP is bad. There's nothing else for me to say. I mean, I'm going to hazard a guess and say that nothing from this EP will make its way into the charts or catch any traction anywhere really, because people are just sick of it at this point. Like, what is she trying to do? She's just flip-flopping all the time, and it's just not appealing to the people that were once her like truest fans. You know, they've grown up now, they're in their mid-20s, late 20s. They're not into any of this, and the younger audiences that weren't with her from the start have no reason to catch on to any of these tracks because they're terrible. They're not good songs. So I'd be very surprised to see her get any sort of success from this. But like I say, I'm guessing that there's nothing coming out of this one. I don't review EPs often on this channel, but whenever I do, I never score them. So I'm just going to leave it at that and say this is pretty bad. Don't listen to it unless you're really interested, then go listen to it. And if you like it, that's fine. But I'm just going to say that I think it's really bad. Thank you for watching my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on this EP. Goodbye.